Good, beautiful morning, everybody, and welcome to the Friday edition of Shortcuts for Your Soul. My name is William Michael Forbes. I'm a spiritual medium, a channel, and an intuitive life coach. And today I have with me the energy of a group called the Ascended, who told me it is important that you learn to mind your mind. And I was very curious about what they meant by that. And what they said is, with these incoming energies that are hitting the planet right now, your physiology and your psychology are being affected. It's not just the things in this world that affect us, it's the things that actually feed the world, like the sun. We get energy from the sun, this planet, your body. Every living form on this planet receives a quotient of life from the physical sun in the sky. And it's no wonder the ancients often worshipped the sun as a very significant feature in their daily lives, recognizing that life comes from the sun. At least biological life does. Spiritual life and the life of your soul, that's a slightly different communication. But they said that your mind, you must learn to mind your mind. It is not just the influences of this world that you have to concern yourself with. It is also the influence of, stellar consciousness, if we could put it to you that way. The star you call your sun is an entity, an intelligence, alive and vibrant, extending life to many planets within the sphere of its relative motion and impact. If you do not believe this, then simply sit out in the sun for an extended period of time and observe how the sun will affect your body. Or if the sun were to go out, observe how it would slowly result in the termination of biological life on this planet as you understand it, as there are creatures that live outside the spectrum of what you call life in different frequencies of energy and consciousness. But your mind as a human being is being affected by this electromagnetic intrusion you have from your sun. You're affected physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Although the realm of your soul is less influenced by matter, time, and space than your biology and your physical structure is, your brain, that is, the place that is the if we could use the term, your synaptic connection between your soul and this physical world comes through your physical brain. Your brain is what allows you to exist and experience in this physical dimension. Without the brain, your consciousness would be very, very different than what it is. Although there are many examples in your world where you will find individuals that do indeed live with very little brain matter, because consciousness is not necessarily determined by flesh for some of you. But for most of you, your existence in this dimension is dependent upon the structure of your physical body. And the structure of your physical body is what allows you to express through into this physical reality that you call Earth. To mind your mind, we are simply saying that you must not only take good care of the structure of your body, but you must learn to assert your divine and free will rationally, reasonably, and intelligently upon the physical body. If you are easily identifying yourself as exclusively the body, then whatever affects the body you believe is affecting you directly, and not knowing that you are a non-physical spiritual entity that can influence and induce functional changes in time, space, and matter. What we have to say today is very important. You must learn to become the regulator of your own mind, your thoughts, your emotions, your memories, and yes, your biology, as your biology does intersect with and interact with your mental apparatus, which of course is stored in the energy field around the body. Your mental apparatus is stored in the energy field around your body. But without the structure of the form, you would not be expressing in this dimension. As you can observe when someone goes through the process, you have erroneously named death, you say they do not exist anymore. We would differ with that quite vehemently, that you do not cease to exist because your body ceases to function. But the way in which you exist is very different. But your mind, learning to mind your mind. If you continue to allow the environment to be the exclusive arbitrator of what your mind will or will not think, what your body will say or not say, or do or not do, then you are essentially just what you would call a automaton, where you are directed by stimulus and responses exclusively. That what happens around you is directing and orchestrating what happens within you, when it should be the other way around, that you are the one that's capable of orchestrating what will happen within you, both in flesh and in field thought. If you do not learn to acquire proper and rational and reasonable control over your mind, then the environment will do as it has done for many millions of years ago, before your consciousness awoke sufficiently enough to be able to build civilizations such as you have done in the last 72,000 years. Your mind is not who you are. The collage of thoughts and memories and emotions are but information and ideas and belief acquired from your environment, many of which you have no conscious or deliberate control over, but which you are designed to have complete conscious and deliberate control and authority over. If you cannot control the function of your mind, or if you defer that function to the environment, well, it's a very different experience for you, because then it will seem in your life that things are being done to you and you have no control over them, because you do not understand that the function of your mind is under the dominion of your awareness, at least when it is sufficiently awakened enough to assert meaningful and intelligent control over what you would think, what you would remember, what you would say, and what you would do. The instrument is not the soul. The body, the mechanical system that you exist through in this dimension, is designed to be operated by you, not to enslave you or capture you to baser fears and uncertainties. You must learn to operate your mind willfully, consciously, intelligently. Far too many of you defer that responsibility exclusively to the environment. Whatever happens in the world, you believe is something you have no control and power over, and we would beg to differ with that extremely. That you are designed to functionally create in this world, not be subjective to it. So when we say mind your mind, it means you are conscious and aware enough that you are not your thoughts, and therefore you can be the one that accepts or rejects thoughts that do not serve you. And when we say thoughts that do not serve you, we mean thoughts that are empirically proven to be irrational and unreasonable and impractical, versus thoughts that are very rational, reasonable, and practical. Far too many of you have deferred the authority of your mind to the world. But now the world is taking a new turn. You see, this thing you call your sun is also affected and influenced by other elements that surround your particular solar system, and which exist in your galaxy. Your scientists can look out and see many, many countless stars in space. Many of these things that your scientists can see are so vast as to make the planet appear to be a speck of dust when compared to them. Even your sun, but a mote in the eye of divine consciousness or universal physicality. Learning to understand that your mind is subjective to you, not the other way around. That the world is designed to be a creative canvas upon which you project your ideas and thoughts. And in fact, it is, whether you're aware of that fact or not, whether you accept this truth or not, the world around you is a projection screen for the effects of your own causes. Many of you seem to think that you are simply characters in a body going through the gyrations of an existence that you think you have no power, control, and authority over. And we would, again, differ greatly with that consideration that you are by nature designed to have complete and total authority over what you would think, what you'd say, what you do, and ultimately what emotional energy you would engage in to functionally create your experiences in this world. So when we say mind your mind, it means you are awakening sufficiently enough that you do not allow random thoughts. You're very deliberate and meticulous about the nature and source of your thoughts. You understand the function of thought, the nature of the specificity of thoughts, and what they mean functionally and creatively in your life. Thoughts that are based in fear are very precise and exacting in what they will contribute to the function of your biology, for example, as will great emotional states such as joy and love and playfulness will create very different states and conditions in the function of your biology and in the function of your mind. But if you do not know you have control and authority over these things, and again, we see far too many individuals upon this world that have little or no awareness of what their thoughts are, or even why they have them, or even where they originated from. But those of you that are learning this process of minding your mind, realizing that you can be the thinker behind the thoughts, the feeler behind the feelings, while you move into a position of very deliberate and conscious experiential creation. That is, you create your experiences and not something that are simply happening to you. And the truth is, you are creating your experiences regardless of whether you are conscious of that fact or not. If you are not conscious enough to recognize that you have an ability to determine what you would think and therefore what emotions you would engage in energetically as creative influences upon your world, if you do not understand this, then you are still creating. You cannot not create, even if you have very little or very limited thinking capacity. That is the inability to choose your own thoughts as an act of your own free will. Then what thoughts you have are the thoughts that you will create your experiences with, whether you believe this or not. This is simply the nature of being in this dimension, having such instruments as a physical body, structural form as thought, emotional energy as substance to induce functions of changing time and space so that your experience would change according to your will. But again, if you do not even know you have a will, how could you possibly select and choose your own thoughts? And so minding your mind begins with the process of awareness, being aware that you have thoughts, becoming aware that you have memories, becoming aware of the fact that you have a physical body and that these elements of thought and memory and biology are held together by a substance called energy, or what in the biological term would be called emotion. That the nature and quality of your emotions determines the function, limited or not, in how you will express and experience in this world. Your emotional substrate of energy is the underlying current that results in the experiential reality you have. There are no random or idle thoughts. They are all creative in nature. Even your memories can be functionally creative in your experiences. If you hold very strong emotions about experience that you had that is not so pleasant, then there's a very good chance you will recreate those experiences because your function of emotional energy allows that to happen. Emotion is the substance that gives life to functions of experience through the use of thought and even memory or imagination or anticipation. As all of these things can creatively influence what you're experiencing. With this great mechanism of the sun increasing in its influence over your consciousness, as your consciousness is getting more influential over its function as well. Yes, you are not separate from the sun. You are energetically interacting with it as you are with this earth and as you are with each other. The flow of energy is not one way. It does not just come from the sun to you or the earth to you. It also goes from you to the earth and you to the sun. you influence each other. And your consciousness collectively as a species is radiating a very unusual field that is inducing functional changes in what your experience of time, space, and matter is. Your thoughts and the corresponding emotional energy they stimulate into function orchestrates your experiences, both individually and collectively. If you do not have control and command and authority over your thinking mind, then whatever thoughts run through the field of your awareness will be like splashes in the function of emotion, and that function of emotion will precipitate experiences. Now, your relationship amongst each other is a little untenable at best right now. And that vibrational collective emotion is emanating out from the planet and interacting with what you call the sun. And much the same way as a dog or a cat would be startled when you screamed at it or a loud noise occurred, so too the influence of your emotions upon the sun bear an effect upon its consciousness, as its consciousness bears an effect upon yours. Equally so, the earth is a living and sentient being as well as your own biology is a living sentient being, and as you are as a soul a living and sentient being. You just happen to be working through the medium of thought and matter, functionally and creatively. But you cannot escape the fact that you are being influenced and you are influencing simultaneously your experiences all of the time. Those who can mind the mind are very careful, meticulous, and mindful of what they would allow themselves to think, believe, say, and do. This level of conscious functionality results in many having experiences that are deliberate and pleasing and beautiful. For those that are conscious, well, to them go the wonders of creation, for they are conscious of what they do. And those who are unconscious of the function of their thought, the function of their emotion, the function of their words, will, of course, be not so necessarily pleased by their experiences, unless, of course, the thoughts that you have been given by your environmental conditions are sufficient enough to elevate you to a pleasing experience. Thoughts form into experiences. Experiences form into effects in your environment and with your environment. So minding your mind means you become aware that you do not have to remain subjective to thought, nor do you have to remain subjective to emotions. Your mind and your body are your servants, not your masters. But your mind and body can and is being influenced by other people, the events and circumstances around you, the sun, the moon, the earth. These all exert an influence upon your physicality as your consciousness asserts influence upon your physical dimension as well. The function of words coming through this body right now is a function of our consciousness articulating structures of thought that are expressed into this physical dimension as sound waves. And we know that these function of sound waves induce effects and changes in time, space, and matter, although the degree, if it were to be measured by your conventional sciences, would seem at one level to be very just a sound. But do not underestimate the function of sound waves and how it would influence this physical dimension that you live in. But suffice it to say, these next few years are very important for all of you, that the function of your mind must come under deliberate, conscious, and intentional control of each and every one of you. Seeking to subjugate large numbers of individuals to your will does not necessitate that you're going to create a uniformed experience of continuity. For if you subjugate the will of others to the will of yourself, well, you remove from the overall function of creation in this dimension, the contribution of other individuals, much in the same way as you have removed such species as the buffalo and many species of fish and other animals that have been eradicated mostly from your physical dimension, because you do not realize that even in the physical dimension, everything that is physical checks and balances with everything else that is physical. When you create an imbalance, it will have an effect. And that effect alters and changes the stream of consciousness on this planet and how it interacts with stellar and solar phenomena. You see, stellar and solar phenomena affect you as you can affect them simultaneously. Your science calls this process quantum entanglement, where every particle is connected to every other particle. And that is true on the macrocosmic scale as it is on the scale of subatomic particles. Everything is intimately interconnected. So if you choose to leave yourself subjective to the influence and dictates of the environment, well, then you are going to be leaving yourself subjective to the outcome of that influence, whether it is good or not so good. Some social and political influences upon your world in the last 150 years have clearly demonstrated that social influence based on erroneous concepts can result in a need to hurt one another. You look at your so-called dictators that have existed throughout history, that if one did not conform to them, then mass murder and even genocide will often follow from an idea from an individual that believes is more superior to your own, will subjugate others to that idea, whether they like it or not. But that has never been a very successful model. Function of free will is universal. But as you've removed all these species from the planet, you've changed the physical balancing of the structure, the movement of fish through the water, the animals upon, you're herding animals, the ones that used to travel and roam freely, that are no longer the birds of the sky that used to darken the sky with their flight. All of these things contribute to intricately balanced and harmonious flow of life on the physical dimension. But this imbalance occurred because of the structure of belief and ideology that enters your mind that says, well, your way is the only way, and then you subjugate others to it. Each of you came here to be a unique functioning individual, to learn the practical applications of utilizing the structure of thought, energy, and matter in the act of deliberate creation in the exact same fashion as the intelligent design of the world that you can observe and the stars in the sky were an intelligent design propagated into existence by a mind capable of doing such a thing, by a consciousness aware of its creative potential. And in each and every one of you is the same seed of that wondrous potential that is capable of creating, what you see with your eyes in even space and time. You too have the same potential and assert it all the time, whether you are aware of it or not. Every one of you that thinks a thought, every one of you that has an emotion is functionally contributing to the experiential reality that you find yourself living in day to day. Day to day, you find yourself living in an experiential reality that is a creation and a product of what is in your own consciousness, your own mind, your memories, your emotions. And if you cannot regulate or monitor your own thoughts, memories, and emotions, then you'll live a very chaotic and unpredictable experience. And we're not saying that everything should be predictable, because it's certainly very nice to get surprises. But how you manage those surprises, how you use your mind, is the thing we are speaking of here, to mind your mind. Mind your mind means you take command and authority over the emotions that you stimulate and generate as functional elements that cause the active behavior, as no behavior in the human realm can occur without the function of emotion through the nervous system. You cannot functionally create cities and rocket ships and airplanes. You cannot functionally create what you call higher or artificial intelligence without a function of mind capable of doing that deliberately and intentionally. You are a creator by nature. And let us end with this. You must learn to assume authority over your own thoughts, your own beliefs, your own emotions, and yes, your own physical structure. You must learn to take care of them willfully, consciously, and intelligently, while knowing full well that in doing so, you create experiences. When you find yourself surprised by something, whether it is good surprise or not so good surprise, it is a function of creation that you're participated in. Every experience that you will have is always a participation in the function of creation. If you cannot articulate the function of your thoughts as an act of your own free and sentient will, then you will equally have little or no authority over the power that you command in manifesting your experiences. Equally, being able to maintain and monitor the function of your physical organism so that it functions and works accordingly to your will. As we've said previously, many of you have deferred the function of your thoughts to what you are being given to think by the world. And for those of you that simply accept what you've been told without question, you will find yourself perhaps in experiences that may not be so pleasant or beneficent for you, versus weighing and measuring thoughts before you accept them into your reality. So learn to mind your mind. This organism you call the sun will be influencing many of you, as is the influence of your collective consciousness. Your individual and dominant functions of social and political systems will also influence you, your educational system. These can all influence what you will or will not think. If you are unconscious and unaware, then you'll essentially become, well, not much different than a programmed automaton, given what you are supposed to think and believe by the environment, never knowing you can choose anything different or even why. So mind your mind, for the whole of creation is dancing with you now. And whether you know it or not, you are in the dance of creation. Whether you believe this or not, you are not only in creation, you are actively contributing to it all of the time. Good morning, everybody. Hi. Will the function of my creation of thoughts of peace and love have an influence on the lower vibrational spectrum of consciousness? Yes. You are influencing wherever you go, you are influencing. Please understand, wherever you go, you influence. You have an energy that you emanate and radiate. Although some of you are more subjugated, your energies are more subdued, more compressed into the body, because you allow external elements to have greater influence over your mind than you have over your mind yourself. But yes, wherever you go, your thoughts of peace, your thoughts of joy, your thoughts of love, your thoughts of playfulness, your thoughts of creativity, your thoughts of love and goodness, your thoughts of anger and frustration are all contributing to your experience wherever you are. You cannot escape that you are engaged in creation, whether you're conscious of that fact or not. Every single living being upon this world is contributing to creation. And humanity has a far greater willful ability to influence time, space, and matter than do other living sentient beings on this planet, such as your animals, your birds, your fishes, that have a function of will that is somewhat different than yours, but their influence is perceptibly and palpably felt and does indeed influence this world. The great buffalo that once roamed your world, many other great animals, contributed to the vibrational sustenance of life on this world. Vibration organizes matter, as your sciences well know this fact to be true. Hi. Thank you. It's been difficult to find my passion. What is Spirit's advice to this? Dance. Dance like you are possessed by joy. Dance like you're possessed by joy, and do that frequently. Dance like you are possessed by joy, and you will experience something very different than you are currently experiencing. Hi. Good morning, Bridget. Hello, Amanda. I thought I heard a little dingle-dingle-ding. Let me just take a look what happened here. Just seeing who... Hold on, folks. I'm just checking some... Oh, okay. Wonderful. Thank you. Sorry, I just had to check something online. Somebody just registered for Masterclass 102, which begins tomorrow, of course. Masterclass 102 is a 3-week program on mediumship, on learning to operate your own mind and learning to heal your own emotional body. You see, you've stored emotions from this lifetime and many others. That most people carry emotions from dozens of lifetimes and don't know how to release them from the body. Some people come back in and experience the same incarnation over and over and over again, not knowing that in a single lifetime, it is completely possible to transform your subsequent experiences to be more favorable than less favorable. Hi. How can one instantly raise their vibration? Smile. Smile, pull your shoulders back up and start cheering. That'll raise your energy from a physical perspective. Other ways you can raise your vibration is to go into a very deep, peaceful, and quiet state of being, and then contemplate what is love. Not what is love as a food or a taste or a sensation, but what is love? Contemplate. What is love? Let us tell you that the function of love is your true nature. We'll leave you with that. Hello and welcome. Hello, Mahela. Good to see you. Good morning. I would like for you to tell me where the thoughts come from. This needs a little clarification for me. The course of thoughts, is God communicating with us through thoughts? Yes and no. God can communicate with you through many different mediums, as it's all-knowing, all-powerful, and everywhere present. But the nature and quality of thoughts is from several places. One, thoughts can originate from the physical experience. We can formulate ideas and beliefs from physical experience. But for the sake of what they're saying about minding your mind, there's 2 structures of thoughts in your mind. There's thoughts that you've acquired from the environment, from the moment the physical body was born. There's thoughts you've acquired from the environment, from age 0 to whatever age you are now. Then there's thoughts that you've inherited from your mother and father, your grandparents, your great-grandparents, your great-great-great-grandparents, because you inherit thoughts and emotions from them as well. You can also bring forth thoughts and emotions from other lifetimes. But it's right here, right now, where you have the greatest command, control, and authority over your thoughts, both the conscious thoughts and the unconscious thoughts. The mind is a unified field, but it's broken down into different degrees. Right now, you're listening to these words right now. This is all covered in our Masterclass 102, by the way. You'll go into meditative experiences where you'll integrate this in. But there's 2 substrates of your mind that function. One, where you are conscious, you're hearing these words, you're analyzing, you're measuring, you're conscious of those thoughts. And you're probably having thoughts about what is being said right now. So you're evaluating what's being said and you're having thoughts. You're saying, oh, yeah, you're having thoughts about that. But you're in your conscious mind right now, hearing what's being said, evaluating thoughts. But there's this other realm that conventional psychology would call the unconscious or subconscious mind, which is also what we call the storehouse of infinite information within your biology. There are other realms of thought that the divine can communicate to you, not just through your mind, but through other medium of expressions, right? But yeah, there's we go into great detail. Sign up for Masterclass 102 if you want to experience lessons from the Ascended Masters and go into a really deep dive of even knowing what it is to have no thought. What do you think you would feel like if you had no thoughts for 5 minutes? Imagine having and experiencing complete stillness as an act of your own free will. You'll learn how to meditate in these 3 weeks. You're going to get exposed to a different type of nutritional style that will assist you in changing the functional frequency of your body. But you'll also be learning how to connect with guides and angels, ascended masters, if you want, God, Jesus, Buddha, many others. You see, the physical dimension is not the only dimension, and you live on 4 dimensions yourself. Most people don't even know they live on 4 dimensions. You got a physical dimension. You've got an energy dimension of emotion. You got the dimension of thought. You got the dimension of being, awareness. And those 4 dimensions of matter, emotion, thought, and awareness, those 4 dimensions of your being work together, or are designed to work together. For most people are stuck in just the body or stuck in just the mind. Most people don't know if they can even alter or change their thoughts. Most people don't even know how to question their thoughts, unfortunately. And the ones that can think and reason consciously and deliberately are the ones that are creating the experiences the world is having right now. Yeah, God is all around you. We'll talk to you in many different ways if you're open and receptive to hearing. But you must learn to become open and receptive to hearing. Good morning, Drusilla. Glad you're here. Thank you. Thank you. Hi. Hello, morning. Good to see you. Question. Since it's been a while since I've taken the 102, will the emails go out tomorrow? The emails for the Masterclass 102, the itinerary, study guide, and nutritional guide will be going out this evening by 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The itineraries and study guide go out tomorrow. The orientation will be tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. The course runs for 3 weeks, from Sunday to Friday. Every week for 3 weeks, there's 1 hour, at least a 1 hour class on Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. And there are 2 hour classes on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Sometimes they run a little less. And the goal of the class is, again, to liberate you from subjectivity to your mind and your emotions. And for those 3 weeks, you're going to be experiencing, well, what it is like to finally remember that you're not your thoughts, you're not your body, you're not your emotions. You have thoughts, you have emotions, and you have a body, and you're designed by nature to be able to regulate them and use them consciously and deliberately. How do you stop thoughts? You to learn this, again, if you want to learn to stop thoughts, you got to teach the mind and body how to be still. That's the simplest way to teach the mind and teach the body how to be still. Thoughts are not that difficult to stop. It just takes, you have to have a system in place that instructs you on how to instruct your mind and body to be different than the way the world is conditioned. Most people's thoughts, most people's emotions, most people's behavior was established before they could even think for themselves. Between the ages of conception, which learning begins, cellular consciousness begins to learn. At the moment of consciousness, the cell structure can receive information from the environment and transmit information to the environment. But yeah, it's a functional and very simple practice. By the end of 1 week, by the end of the first week of Masterclass 102, you will be able to monitor and regulate your thoughts better than you probably ever have in this lifetime. In week 2 of Masterclass, we focus on the practice of how do you get rid of old emotions? How do you remove the destructive influences of old experiences? How do you shift the energy, the emotion in your body from one state to another? Because emotion can't be created or destroyed. It can only be changed from one state to another. Isn't that a wonderful thing? It's almost identical to the energy that science studies. Energy can't be created nor destroyed. It can only be changed from one state to another. Water can become vapor, can become ice, right? It can only be changed from one state to another. Emotion works on the same basic principle, just in a different way, because it's a different medium. It's not physical, but it affects and interacts and induces change in the physical dimension. You'll learn all this. And week 2 is all about letting go of those old emotions that you got from childhood. Maybe you had a very painful childhood, or you've had a trauma in your life, and you just don't know how to train the mind and body to release the trauma from it. Because once you can release a stored emotion from the body, then the function of behavior in biology changes. There's wonderful souls like Bruce Lipton and Joe Dispenza and many others who've written extensively on this simple, easy to follow practice, but it doesn't require that much difficulty and effort in learning to get your mind to be still and quiet and peaceful. Anyone can learn to bring their mind into stillness. Anyone, if they're willing to follow a simple set of instructions. Hi, William. I'm a returning student, and I was wondering when I would get an itinerary. I signed up on Monday. Hello, Victorious. Oh, and someone else just signed up. Thank you so much. The itinerary and study guides will go to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time this evening. That's when everybody will receive them. And again, week 2 is all about, so yeah, you'll be getting your itinerary and study guide and nutritional guide this evening. You'll be working with over the course of 3 weeks, you'll have 3 sessions with a holistic nutritionist who's been practicing for well over 22 years in her profession. And she'll walk you through the whole nutritional aspect of raising your vibration. Because without a healthy body, a healthy mind is sometimes troubled, right? Week 3 is all on creation. So week 1 is all about learning how to live in the present, to get control of your mind and body. Week 2 is all about how to release or let go of old emotions that are stored in the body. Like I said, I went through intense trauma when I was a young child, from ages 7 to about ages 13. And I held on to that trauma in my body for a long time. And these last 7 years have enabled me to let go and release all that old trauma in beautiful and wonderful ways. And what's facilitated me becoming a medium. I've got less emotional, mental garbage in the way. I still got a few things to work on, but this course of instruction is me channeling the wisdom and the knowledge of the ascended masters that come through me during the course. And they provide us all with very simple, easy practices to let go and release old emotion out of the body, how to reclaim autonomy and authority over your mind and over your body. Because your thoughts are not who you are. Your memories are not who you are. That's information that you have. And you are not the information, you are the soul. Again, they'll explain it better than I can right now. And then week 3 of the masterclass is all focusing on creation. Because once you have authority and control over what you will think, once you know how to release old emotions, you can also choose what you're going to think, and you can initiate a function of emotion that supports you. You can learn to stimulate the energy of joy, the energy of playfulness, the energy of excitement. And you'll change the function of events in your life just by learning how to change emotional energy. Hi, welcome. Hi, Lauren, good to see you. Someone's saying the mind will become empty. It works for me. Is this meditation? Yes. Well, Jesus talked about this a lot too, in terms of learning how to be still. Virtually every mystic has ever talked about that. Be still and know I am God. It's a very important and considerable thing. Yes. You are not your mind. You are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. Someone saying here, the 102 is life-changing. I have stillness a lot of the time. You're welcome, and I look forward to being in class. Thank you, Bridget. Look forward to seeing you. Now, for those of you that registered within the last, between the 20, let's see, we're on the 27th now. Between the 20, by the way, tomorrow on the 28th, I didn't know this when they set the schedule up a few months ago, that tomorrow there's going to be 8 planetary bodies in alignment. We'll be able to see them out in the sky. And the orientation for the masterclass is tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'm told it's going to be a very unique subtle energy that's going to be participating in the initiating this class for the next few days. It's very exciting. Just never know what's going to happen sometimes. Hi. Yeah, we'll get to you in just a second, Judah. When does the 101 start again? Hello, Michaela. Mihaela. The 101 begins, hang on. The 101 begins in about 2.5 months. I'd have to check the calendar schedule on it. Let me just pull it up here for a second for you. Yes. Hi, welcome. Glad you made it. Yeah, the dates for the 101 are not up there yet, but I can tell you 103, the 104 is, okay, 103. The 103 starts in April. The 104 will start May 1st and will run until May the 21st. So it will be late May, probably early April, because late May is when the 101 will begin. Again, the dates will be up on the site very soon. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. I appreciate it. But yeah, in late May, we'll have the Masterclass 101 begins again. Yes, hi. William has the best meditation experience. Not said right, but you get it. Well, we've been told that a lot. Again, I channel the energy, the wisdom, and the knowledge of the Ascended Masters. It's pretty remarkable. And it certainly changed my life when it began to happen 7 years ago. Just going to see if I've missed any questions or considerations here. Sit still, close your eyes, take a deep breath, listen to everything around you, not just one sound. Yeah, that's another way you can do it. There's many different ways of doing this. Message from I am Judah 0509. I don't know why, but I'm getting a picture of like a Buddhist monk sitting in the lotus position, but he didn't just sit into it right away. He actually walked into the space and then sat. And he's sitting in a lotus right now, bringing stillness, closing the eyes, but bringing stillness. You need to bring stillness into your mind and body. Like you need to bring that in. You need to walk into that state of stillness. Bring yourself into the stillness. Hi. Yes. Question: which spiritual cleansing is suggested if the previous owner died in the home one wishes to acquire? The simplest one is to go through the place and release anything that does not need to be there with love and grace. In some practices, you can take a bell that's got a pleasing sound to it and go through each room and ring the bell. But the simplest way is just to fill the space with your love and grace and let the vibration of your love displace or shift whatever's there. Most souls, there are lots of souls that are trapped in the astral realm right now, walking around us, stuck in this dimension, but not physical. Their astral body is stuck in this physical dimension. And you can clear them. Just love will clear them. The vibration of love. Can I sign up to start tomorrow with the class you start? Which that is, it's Masterclass 102, Liberation. Masterclass 102, Liberation. And again, it starts tomorrow at 11 a.m. And yes, you come join us. It is the course that has affected people in unbelievable ways. We had healings happen in the class. It's watching people let go of years of unnecessary pain that they've carried like a sack of potatoes over their shoulders. You do not have to go through years of certain types of therapy to let go of old emotions. You can easily learn how to shift your own emotional energy. You're designed by the divine to have command and control over your thoughts, your emotions, and your body. And you'll learn simple, easy to way practices to teach your body, because you have to teach your body to be a certain way. You have to teach your mind what it will or will not think. And the way that we'll show you how to do that is very simple. Your thoughts are not you. Your memories are not you. Your emotions are not you. They're instruments that allow you to functionally create your experiences through the body. The body is the instrument through which emotions and thoughts articulate functions of behavior. And so when you learn how to operate as an act of your own free will, what your mind will think, therefore what emotional energy it will get into, and what your body does, well, you're going to find a peace that you may not have experienced in this lifetime. And I've seen it hundreds of times where people experience their mind and body being still and quiet, perhaps for the first time in many lifetimes. And they're just this look comes upon their face. And they'll come back from the meditation, they're going, wow, I didn't want to come back. And what we always say to them, what they always say to us, when you know you can have that there, you can have that anywhere. If you can create peace in your being, you can create it in your mind, you can create it in your body, you can create it in the world. Just as you can create excitement and playfulness in the world. There are no limits to what you can create when you realize that you are the divine authority that you're seeking. The kingdom of God is within you. Remember that. Hi. Hi. I like that statement, by the way. Have I successfully released fear-based attunements from people and events in the last few days? Yes, you have been doing that. But release, whenever you're going to do a release exercise, like maybe your stepfather, your grandmother, somebody bothered you and hurt you and upset you, and you're now holding on to that frustration, and you don't want to carry that frustration around anymore. There are simple ways you can learn to release that frustration, or at the very least, transform the frustration from one state into another, because emotion cannot be created nor destroyed. It can only be changed from one state to another. And you, as an awareness, are the functioning and governing principle that can induce changes in functions of emotion, which in turn induce changes in functions of biology. Very exciting, isn't it? And you'll learn how to do that very easily and simply. Yes, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Hello. Thank you for following. The mind will become empty. It works for me is this meditation. It is a form of getting the mind quiet and empty is one form of meditation. The question then is, in that place of emptiness where there's nothing, Buddha often tells me people get to that state of the empty mind, but they don't get into the experience of becoming one with it all. You are separate in stillness, and this is a very good and beautiful thing. But you want to also then begin to understand and recognize that you are one with everything. The goal is not to just be separate. The goal is to be whole and complete. He says, but that's a very important step. Getting to a place where you have nothing in your mind is a meditative state, one aspect of it. And from that place of nothingness, you can know everythingness. You can know everything and nothing. It sounds like a paradoxical condition, and because it sounds that way, it's a resolvable paradox, where you are, as quantum physics now showing, you are the part, you are the whole. There's quantum entanglement. We are affecting each other in all spaces and place and time simultaneously. But yes, that is a form of meditation, quiet mind. And sometimes that's what people need. They need to have a quiet mind. There's so many people's minds are going all the time. And it's not that difficult to tone it down. It's not that difficult. We've been doing these shows for 7 years now. And where we come on with live, we just share the knowledge and wisdom of the ascended masters and their information. We just share it. And we've done healings live. Some of you that are on TikTok have heard them and watched people come on live and they're healed. It's not me doing anything personally. It's just the way energy works. When certain qualities of emotion are engaged, then there are certain functions of organization that occur in physiology. When certain functions of emotion are engaged, then certain functions alter and change physiology. Emotion organizes matter. Very interesting, isn't it? But yeah, I've had 2 people sign up in the last half an hour. Wonderful. So excited to see you guys there. Someone saying lot 102 is life-changing. Every time, first time or 7th time, we evolve and transform each time. And it is so true. You know, we never stop growing. You can never, and if you think you've stopped growing or there's no more change coming in your life, you're doing yourself a disservice. Hi, thank you for coming. Hi, welcome. I remember some things, but I will see you soon. Wonderful. It's wonderful. Good. I hope to see you, Jordan. You're not your thoughts. You're not your memories. You're not your emotions. You're not your body. You have thoughts. You have memories. You have emotions. You have a body. You are a soul. That's what you are. You are a soul. Keep it simple. You know, mind, supermind. There's just awareness, mind, emotions, matter. There are other dimensional realms. Yes, I know they're telling me that there are other dimensions, but for the sake of why you're in this dimension, you only want to deal with those 4 primary realms of physical body, emotion, thought, and awareness. That's what you need to understand. Hi. You have a good day too, Jordan. We're all in our spirit, like I did your remembering. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Thank you for everything you do. God bless you. God bless you too. God blesses everybody. He's beating everybody's heart. While in Sedona, thinking stopped completely. Halfway home on the freeway, it suddenly came back. Yeah, that happens. That starts to become norm where you live in the present moment. That's what stillness brings you to. Jasmine saying, I've had the healing in the class. I've had live healing in class and here on the live events. I wonder if you can bring a message about med beds. Thank you. Yeah, again, science and technology recognize, they've known this for a long time. Jesus knew this 2,000 years ago, that thought, faith, and belief organize experiences. That's why he said, as your faith, as your belief, so be it unto you. Not my will, but thy will. So the function of emotion organizes matter. Sound waves organize matter. Cymatics really proves that. But yeah, med beds are a real thing. They've had them for decades already. Nothing new under the sun. It's just that they're just starting to become available for mass mind now, right? But yeah, med beds are a functional reality. Wilhelm Reich understood the ability to change and transmute functional disease with vibration. And that was well over 70 years ago, Reich. The Reich microscope and the Reich machine that you'd stand in, you would just pass a vibration, it would literally kill all the cancer cells in your body. So yeah, med beds are not something that are new. They're just something new to mainstream humanity. But there are beings on this planet that are doing things with technology that you have no idea about. But they're to many people, they seem miraculous. But you are a med bed. Your consciousness is a med bed. You can bring your awareness, your mind, and your body into a state of perfect vibrational health. Through an act of your own sentient will, you can induce functional change in your body to alter and correct conditions in the body. But the function of your will must be complete and focused and sustained for the change to occur. Many of you seeking to use mind over matter will try for a short period of time and you decide it's not working. But the sustained intensity of your focus, not with hard, struggling effort, but a sustained, energetic, emotional quality, will orchestrate your physiology into a new expression as equally as a sustained negative emotional function will do the exact same thing for you. Understand that your emotion organizes conditions of your biology. And that can happen to you, through you, but it can also happen to you from others. The environment around you can induce emotional, energetic conditions in your body. It's well documented by your conventional psychology and psychotherapy that if you're treated a certain way or spoken to in a certain tone, it will condition your biology and your psychology to function in a certain way. But everybody has the will within themselves that if it's sufficiently developed, that you would not only be less amenable to the influence of others, but you'd be far more amenable over your own ability to influence the conditions of your own life, including your biology. Yes, medbed, your awareness can be a functional element that heals your body and is. I like that. Can I confirm if your order went through? Let me take a look here. Let's see. I'm seeing one order here. Here, let me just go check that database here. Just a moment, Lauren. I'll pull this up. But yeah, I've seen there's been like 3 or 4 orders have gone through just in the last a few minutes. Okay, let's open this up here. Let's see. Where's the name? So yeah, I do have an order here, but it doesn't reveal the name. But yeah, Masterclass 1-2 Liberation. Yep, you're registered. Wonderful. You're going to have an amazing time. Yeah. Thank you so much. I'm really looking forward to seeing you in the class. It's going to be an experience you won't forget. Again, everybody will receive their study guide and itinerary by 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. See you tomorrow. So excited. Yes, I have a friend's funeral I need to go to around that time, but we'll watch the replay. Yeah. So the other element of this course, it runs from Sunday to Friday for 3 weeks. There's a lesson every single day. Every lesson is recorded and stored up on a private group wall where you can observe and watch the review and replays throughout the entire course. And for usually a week or two beyond, we leave the wall open so you can review lessons, as many students find that very useful. So every lesson is recorded, so you won't miss anything. Even if your schedule conflicts and you can't make an event, you'll still be able to watch the replay of the event. And the replays are equally as powerful in a different way than the actual live event. Although everybody said the live events have a little bit more energy to them, and that's because you're in the real vibrational presence of them. Am I very psychic? Everyone, what are people ordering? They're basically signing up for Masterclass 102 Liberation, which begins tomorrow. Masterclass 102 Liberation is a course in mediumship, but mostly it's a course in meditation, in releasing old emotions from your mind and body, of restoring equilibrium to your consciousness, and then ultimately realigning yourself back into the position of conscious and deliberate co-creation over your life. Because once you can manage your emotional energy, you'll start managing deliberately the experiences you have. Emotion organizes matter. So yeah, they're signing up for Masterclass 102. If you're interested, you want to read about it, go to my website, WilliamMichaelForbes.com, or click on the Linktree link in my TikTok bio, and that will take you to the classes and courses too. You can read all about them, what's involved in the classes and courses. This is a very intensive learning program. Week 2 is our most powerful week because you're going to learn how to let go of all those old, painful emotions that you still carry around in your body. Hi. Oh, you're very welcome. No worries. Hi. How can I hear the animals' messages when I communicate with them? You need to stop trying to hear words. Animals communicate with vibration, not with language. That vibration can be converted into language. it can be converted into language. But the animals communicate in vibration. You have to learn to feel their energy as opposed to figuring out what they're communicating. You have to feel it. Feel it as an act of your own free will. Excuse me. Hi. I got a text from my card that a payment was made, but the confirmation doesn't show on your website. It says my transaction can't be processed. Did I pay 2 times? Here, let me just take a look. I can look in the back end for you right now. We'll do that for you. I better close down a couple of windows because I'm using a lot of resources. I'm in a different part of the world, and in that part of the world, the internet is very different. We're in Mexico. Wonderful, beautiful Mexico. You know, we have to actually come down here because it's cheaper and more expensive than it is cheaper to come down here than it is in Canada. So we drive down here, 4,000 miles because it's cheaper to live here for the winter than it is in Canada. It's sad. My country is falling apart. Okay, here we go. Orders. Let's see. I'll pull it up. Yeah, Mihaela, it says the payment failed, so you'll have to try again. Same with Christopher, you'll have to retry. Yeah. Yeah. And Emily, same with you. It says that payment failed. Oh, wait, Chris, your payment did go through. Yeah. Hamlet, yours went through. Yeah. Laura Sangira, yeah. All these other payments have gone through too. Wonderful. It's gonna be a wonderful class. If anybody made a payment yesterday during the daytime or during the evening of the 25th to the 26th, the early morning hours, there was an update on my website that apparently shut my website down for about 8 or 9 hours and then was intermittently turned on. That's since been corrected. So if you made a payment and you took a screenshot of that payment, please let me know so I can ensure that you get in the course, because some of those payments did not get registered because of that error in the website. But generally speaking, you're good to go. Michaela, it does say that the payment has failed at this time. Let me refresh the page. Maybe I just have to refresh the page. Hi. Just here for a little bit, so I wanted to say hi. Well, hi there, Christina. I'm glad you made it. It's a beautiful day. And I'll take a look again. I'll refresh the page. Yeah. Again, there's also the PayPal Pay After you can use too. Wonderful. Yeah. Very excited. Yeah, there's other people that have paid. That's not showing up here. Let me see if I refresh the page. Anyway, it's going to be an amazing class. I've been 7 years ago when this started happening, I could hear their voices and they started talking through me. It was quite eye-opening. Everybody has a connection to Jesus. Everybody has a connection to God. Everybody has a connection to your guides and your angels. And many people have connection to not so good vibrational entities. But in our masterclass, you'll learn how to shift your vibrational energy to a new state. You'll learn how to shift your energy to a brand new state. Okay, Lauren, thank you so much for sending that to me. Yeah, I'll make sure you. Good to see you in the class. It's been a while since we've seen you, Lauren. It's gonna be wonderful. I'm glad you chose the. Okay, wonderful. Thank you, Lauren, for letting me know. I appreciate your efficiency. Thank you so much. Bridget is going to help me with the downloading. She got an idea. I can do it. And so I will let you know once it started. Thank you so much, Iris. Yeah. So if you book a reading with me, your reading is recorded, and I'll send you a copy of the recording shortly after the reading so that you can review it. Readings are pretty amazing things. I say, okay, Bridget, your recording for your reading went out at about 3 a.m. this morning. So you'll take a look in your, oh, you want it to Auntie B. Okay, I'll shift it over to the other email address. I sent it to the one, where did I send it here? Your reading recording, where did we send that here? Because it was you used a different email than you normally do when you booked the last reading, but I'll give you the email address that it went to. Sent, there we go. Let's see. Give me a moment here, everybody. Okay, it went to the Indian Bridge email address. It went to the Indian Bridge email address, and you can check that and confirm. If you want me to send it to Auntie B, I'll do that. I'll have to do that a little later this morning, though. Hi, thank you. Just closing it down with two windows. Hi, everybody. Welcome. So yeah, you are a med bed. That's a really good one. Remember that. You are a med bed. Yeah, I'm so excited for the 102. We've got some repeat students coming. We've got a bunch of new students. It's going to be really fun. 102 is our most powerful course as people go through the biggest transformations and changes. Yeah, check that email, and then you can just send me a confirmation that you got it. Hi. William used. Wonderful. Yeah, thank you so much for sending me that screenshot, Lauren. Yeah, thank you so kindly. Yeah, WordPress did a large update, and that update was not compatible. They've got a few bugs to fix out before I do that update. As well, there's a couple of, there we go. Hi, everybody. I'm paused. I hope I'm unpaused. Oh, everybody's gone from TikTok because I shifted screens to communicate. Anyway, I want to wish you all much love. I look forward to seeing everybody on TikTok tonight. We'll be going live. And hey, William, firstly, you're a fantastic leader. Question, would you be able to tell me briefly or in depth which foods I specifically need to avoid and which foods I should consume more of? Thank you. Yeah, there are certain vegetables that you need to combine to synthesize the protein intake that your body needs. That's what I'm getting right now. The cleansing element that will help release some of the denser stuff from the body, citrus fruit, fresh orange juices, and fresh carrot juice. The citrus juices, do them early in the day for your body, and the vegetable juices, do them later. But carrot juice will be really good for you, especially pre and post workout, right? Be very good for you. Hi. So I'm now unpaused, and there we go. So I'm going to say I'm really excited about today. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody. DNA, yeah, love to send love to all your cells. Good. But we'll see everybody tomorrow at the orientation, and I'll see you guys on TikTok this evening at around 8 or 9 p.m. this evening. Have yourselves a great day, and I want to wish you all much love, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.